What is it? Is it a secret?
I don't know. Mystery box.
Are you going to open it?
It's... maybe.
If anything, you're going to be your higher power and more out of focus, which seems counterintuitive, but the larger lenses have a larger depth of field, so more is in focus, which means you need to go further away to get the same amount of heating that you would with a smaller lens. $4,599. That's a hard pass, bro. Go. Yeah. Get. You can get an Ohm Tech for that. You can get a big Ohm Tech for that. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Laser Source Podcast, the #1 podcast. If you want to listen to Matt sing, turn the beat around.
Or about prostate glove exam balloon fingers.
Show me where it hurts.
I'm gonna put this blue balloon in you, and we're gonna see. I got nothing.
Matt's like, this is gonna hurt you a lot more than it's gonna hurt me.
Talk about streaming. When we're done here, you'll be streaming much better.
Man, I'm burnt. We left the old house pretty much officially today. The professional carpet cleaners came in and are coming tomorrow morning, so everything had to be off all the floors. We had to just 100% have the house empty. And we did it, and I finished patching all the holes, all the screw holes and giant holes left from where I put anchors in and then ripped them out, and there was a bullet hole left over, all of that kind of stuff.
Security deposit gone.
Yeah, 2 full loads in the van, which I just finished unpacking literally minutes ago. I'm sweating. It's 80% humidity. It's been raining all day. I'm literally not. The reason I'm not wearing my glasses right now is because I cannot wear them without them fogging up. They just completely fog up the second they go on my face. So it's a thing. But I'm here. Hello, everybody. And in other news, what's up, boys? Of course, no audio. Classic, boys.
He's gonna have it. It's gonna happen.
You may notice that there are some things missing from this room over here, particularly the Odyssey with our studio setup. I have some news about that I'll share in a couple minutes. I do want to shout out some stuff to chat. Keeping Cracked is here. I can't wait to work with leather. I just got my tube in my CO2 and I just need to get some distilled water and fire it up. That's dope, dude. I'd love to see some pics of that wherever you lurk in the Laser Everything communities. That's what I want to see. What up? Directed Tech. How's it going? Vince No Bucks as usual. Willie, as usual, is here. Moss, good to see ya. My wife is here, always, making sure that we keep ourselves out of trouble. It's good to see everybody today. We've got 14 people here. Don't forget to smash the like button if you haven't already here on LETV. I just finished posting the show everywhere, so hopefully we'll get some people in here. We did pretty well last week. Last week was a really big success. I think we had almost 400 viewers in and out over the life of the stream. Yeah, while we were live, which was pretty cool. And I don't know. I think that's it for normal housekeeping stuff. How's everybody else doing?
I fixed my Comica mics.
Hey, yo, nice.
You know how I did it?
What'd you do?
I bought the other ones.
Oh, you bought the other ones?
Yes.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's all good. I can still use them, but the S is for the, mobile. So I'm going to start live streaming with the Comica mics in the laser room. And
does it sound good? Have you
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay,
it's
cool.
Clean. It has... The problem is the noise canceling cancels out the noise of the vent and the blower and the laser, but it compresses the hell out of my audio. So I'm not sure where they're presets. I'm not sure, what to do with that.
Something's better than nothing.
It'll take some fiddling.
Yeah. So what are you going to do with the other pair? Are you going to use those for regular streaming?
So I'm still going to use those with the laptop if I'm going to use the other laser. When I'm doing live streams from my cell phone here, but I'm also going to use StreamYard to do some stuff here as well. So I'm going to use both of them for both different situations.
Yeah, cool.
But I'm going to start doing material tests on every. So I got that Ukuch sample set of every type of wood they have.
Nice.
I'm going to do a live stream where I test every single one with the material test on every single one of them. So it'd be settings for all products. All with a 90 watt laser.
Yeah.
Something fun to do.
Sure. What about you, Kyle?
Sure.
You got anything going on over there?
About a minute and a half before we went live, I almost fell down the stairs trying to carry a box down.
Nice. What was in it?
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
That thing right there sticking in the corner
What
of the
is it?
frame.
Is it a secret?
I don't know. Mystery
Ooh.
box.
Are you gonna open it?
Maybe.
You're no fun.
We could do that.
Is it?
Let's see what chat says if they want to see what it is.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
I legit don't know what it is. So.
Should throw up a poll. Does it have like a label on it? Is it DHL?
It's from UPS. It came from China.
Oh, interesting. We should do a poll.
All right. Does that sound better, boys? Are you okay now? Are your ears?
No.
It does sound. It does sound better. It's substantially
The
better.
exhaust is literally the fact I'm taking from voiceover audio.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, dude.
Go figure.
It's a weird world we live in. For
How
sure.
the turntables.
Moss says, "Dang, Boyce is lasering hardcore."
We're getting there.
Getting there. Cubing says, "Boyce looks like a white version of David Goggins."
Oh, go hard, motherfucker.
I have to Google who that is.
PCW says, "I tried an S mark on my chef's knife. Top half turned out smooth and rusted. Bottom half turned out rough and rust-free. Leveling issue. Odd, for sure. Definitely not, yeah, first of all, it's not level. But second of all, the smooth part is the part that should not be rusted. So that's
Yeah,
very
no
odd.
rust.
I'd love, yeah, if you hear anything at all with your ears while that mark is running, you're too much in focus.
Yep, too much
and
power.
you have to defocus more, or your power's too high, or some combination of the two things. There's some kind of ablation happening, even if it's smooth to the touch.
And you also need to validate he mentioned it being in level. You need to make sure your head is actually level to your bed
Yeah,
and your
true.
material. 'Cause that's, if you're seeing a complete unevenness like that and it's one side versus another, it is almost always your head is out or your material isn't level.
Yeah, definitely remember that you don't want to level the item via the level. You're trying to get the level to match the head when, so put the level on the head, see where it is. If it's level with ground, that's great. But if it's not, whatever, see where the level is on the head and then make it match on the item that you're trying to mark. It's a common mistake. People will have their lasers set up however, and then they'll just, everything they throw on their bed, they're just trying to get level with the bubble. And that doesn't help you. So that's definitely a good point. Definitely want to check
Something else
that.
I've done with that Z mark and annealing is I'll have it run like just a solid line, a stretch of like a rectangle. I'll actually tweak that up slightly manually until I don't hear it no more. That's what I've done to find my perfect offset of zooming out.
It helps
Yeah.
if you have it. It helps if you have a jig too, because if you're, if you're doing multiple parts, because you can do that on one, just find the spot, and then the rest are good, which is helpful. Directed text says, "What's in the box?"
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Not until you give me the
What's in
gun.
the f***ing box?
That never gets old. Cody Barron says, "Hi all. What's up, Cody? Good to see you." Willie says, "Hey, Alex. So I got either the hockey puck laser pecker or one of those diode gantries. Oh, you want to get. What do you think would be best for Michael? For Michael, who's Michael?
Our editor, Michael?
Or do you mean?
Or Michael from
Are you talking about Michael, the editor? The hockey puck laser pecker, the old Gen 1. We were talking about laser peckers today. Mine's actually behind me on the shelf.
I think he's sending Michael. He said he was sending Michael some 3D printing stuff too.
Oh, wow.
I was talking to him earlier this week. And by the way, if you're wondering why I'm wearing the gloves, because we didn't get around to asking about them.
What's in the box?
Yeah, what's in the gloves? So I'm going to be working on lasering Kyla and I are working on a UV review. And I'm also being able to work on the review a little bit while working on a product. So basically, I'm going to be doing that while we're streaming. If you guys got questions, I've got a set of 40 glasses that are on the rotary that are on the UV Galvo. So basically, if you've got questions about that stuff, Kyle was able to help me figure out. I was having an issue with my, not rotations. Was it rotations?
Steps per revolution.
Yeah, steps per revolution earlier today, and my brain was farting. And so we were able to figure it out pretty quick. And then we were figuring out glass is uneven because we were trying to figure out why they kept being little flaws in the glass, even though the settings are perfect. And it's the fact that when you put your eye level to the glass as it goes up, there's all these teeny tiny little bevels in it. And so that was fun figuring that
Dude,
stuff
the
out.
glass is imperfect always. Always.
I'm used
It's
to being
not
perfect, so that's where it's a problem.
It's not, for people who don't know, I didn't know this when I started. Like, when you do a stainless steel tumbler, usually, unless you get something really cheap and crappy, they're cylinders, like perfect cylinders. Glass is not that way. Even if it didn't have the little waves in it, they're usually like elliptical. They're longer in one direction than the other. And that is an issue. It's a very difficult issue to overcome. And usually it just ends up being a matter of using a lens with a long enough depth of field that it doesn't care about the elliptical shape of the glass. And that means you have to have a lot of power. So that's kind of a limiting factor, depending on the laser you're on, of course. Especially with UV. Yeah, especially with UV, because not only do you have lower wattages in general with UV, but also you have much shallower depths of field in general. So that can definitely be a serious issue if you're trying to do something beyond just like a regular mark. My advice is usually to find the wider part of the ellipse, right? Not the narrower part, but the wider part, and put that side up and in the center so that it's at least rotating around on an angle that's going to give you the flattest part of that curve. Typically yields the best results, but it's definitely challenging. That's a really, really big challenge.
Yeah, and so I figured that's one thing that people always want to ask about with UV is glass. So I figured, why not show it today while we're working?
Cubing is asking, is there a video about how to do steps per revolution?
I'm linking it now.
Do we cover that? Which episode is that?
It's covered in the Learn Fiber Laser Rotary Light Burning Galvo.
Is that just...
It's in the crash course.
Well, that's 1-to-1. That's
Right.
1-to-1 gear ratio because it's a chuck rotary. But if he means roller rotaries, I don't think we do, because
We've never used a roller rotary on a fiber yet.
or any machine at all. We don't really have any.
Let me rephrase that. Matt has, whichever direction Matt is from me.
I don't think we have any roller rotary videos, period, on the channel, including for gantry. And that is a different story. That's actually more complicated, because instead of having a 1-to-1 gear ratio, because it's not just a motor and a rod, it's not the right word, but a rod and then the chuck, it's like a bunch of gears, and that changes your steps per revolution depending on the ratio of the sizing of the gears compared to the motor. It's just like it's a whole thing. It deserves a video. There are videos on it. I would check out Matt's workshop. If you haven't checked out Matt's workshop on YouTube, it's an old channel. He's been doing videos for a long time. A lot of the stuff I know about gantry lasers, I learned from him. And he has a great video on how to calculate steps per revolution. It's a little convoluted, but you can figure it out if you spend some time on it. So I'd recommend at least that until we can give the topic the old laser everything treatment. I'm sure that's something Kyle's going to cover in the gantry crash course. So we'll certainly have something out for that in the nearish future. Kyle's been picking up pace on the gantry crash course quite a bit lately, so I would anticipate that soon. But yeah, that's a big topic. That's a big topic.
I would also say something I've done is actually offset the percentage of the width versus the depth for a perfect circle or whatever, right? So I just go down like 80%. If the steps are off, I use a tape on it. I'll run a light score, and I say, okay, that's just not quite right. So I actually adjust the percentage instead of steps. I get a basic steps. I just use it where it's at, and I just adjust the percentages off. That kind of offsets the steps for me instead of going back and forth.
Cheater.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
By the way, before I
works.
meet myself and then like start working, I was gonna say one more thing too. The plastic Payday video, like I did my recording over it. So if you're someone who is trying to figure out how do I pay off my laser, what are some things to do? Basically, I took the 2-layered plastic, and it's a $40 piece of plastic, and basically turned it into like $450 profit. And I teach you how to do that. I mean, not like it's that difficult thing, but it's one of those things to think about, and how I go over the pricing and everything for you, how much it cost me, where I got it from, why I chose that. And then the other thing too that's coming out is I just went to H&H Creations Tampa to see, because we've talked about them on the channel a bunch, and I got to meet Brian and Christina. They were super awesome, super nice people, and got a great video coming out with them. I spent like 3 hours at their shop, which is an awesome shop. Like, they're able to knock out some really cool stuff. So just some more things coming at you.
Willie said yes, by the way. He is talking about Michael, the editor. And I'm torn. I'm actually interested in your guys' opinion on this, because I think Michael has a very serious space restriction in his current living situation. So for that, the hockey puck laser pecker seems like a no-brainer. He can just literally toss it on his desk in front of his keyboard. But as an editor, editing laser everything content, the experience he could gain with light burn on a gantry laser would be very helpful. And so I feel torn between those things. What do you think?
I think the usability factor in that, I know he's not going to be able to utilize a gantry in his current space. There's just no way for him to set it up and actually use it where he has space. because there's no exhaust. He would be literally burning whatever he's burning.
Oh, that's
if
true.
it's that big in like the one area of his house that has 0 windows or ability to vent.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. So probably the puck. It's just he has like 0 space. I think he's got a 3D printer right now, and he's got like a bunch of shit on his floor, and then the 3D printer is sitting on top of that, and then he's got a bunch of shit sitting on top of the 3D printer, and that's like his 3D printing space. So probably the hockey puck, I would say. It's very nice of you. Thank you for considering him for that.
Super kind.
Ow, God, damn cat. He's like doing the like claw up, but like into my stomach.
He's needing some biscuits on your biscuits.
Yes.
David Temple sent, I have one of these 30-watt split fiber laser, 6.9, so a 7x7 working area. What lens would that be?
7 inches?
7 inches. Yeah, what is 7 inches to millimeters?
It'd be a 175.
175, yeah, sure. When I use your Z black, looks like an anneal, and the anneal disappears. I mean, if it doesn't look black and it looks like an anneal, you're not getting hot enough. Probably because your dot size is bigger than mine would be. My settings are for the 110. Hopefully you're using converted settings for your 175. You don't mention if you're using the converted settings or not. So
another factor is that's a Raycus.
Oh, it's a Raycus too. Sure.
So you may need to adjust the power a little bit.
Well, it's 25 kilohertz. So on Raycus, he'd be at like
it'd be
30 or 40, something like that. I think the power needs to go up, period. Your dot size is bigger than mine was in that video. If anything, you're going to be your higher power and more out of focus, which seems counterintuitive, but the larger lenses have a larger depth of field, so more is in focus, which means you need to go further away to get the same amount of heating that you would with a smaller lens. It's really not very intuitive. You would think the opposite, but you'd actually want to defocus more and apply more power. So those would be the adjustments I would make. I would make them incrementally and make the increments small in order to probably get the best results on that. But that's probably how I'd go about fixing that issue. So the Odyssey is gone, as is like 90% of the tech that was on my shelf behind me here. And that is because we are moving back into the studio. I think I talked about this a little bit last week, but I don't know how in depth I got. So one of my neighbors in the basement where the shop is moving out, and we're like eating his space. We're just like consuming it and adding it to ours. And it's going to double our square footage. So we're going from 1,100 square feet there to like 2,200 square feet. And I'm going to take that 2,200 square feet and I'm going to divide it into 3 sets. So we're going to have 3 different sets, like studio sets with 3 walls. So there's like a big long back wall, and I'm going to put up 2 false walls that'll divide it into 3 spaces. And then we'll be able to have lighting in there. One will have like a nice table for like reviews or like talking heads. We'll be able to walk all the way around a machine. One of them will be maybe like a podcast room with like a table and mics. If people come by, we can do interviews and have conversations. And then one of them might be like a mini workshop where we can like take things apart. We'll have tools available on the wall. We'll be able to like work on internal components. I'll have like a nice overhead camera rig and that kind of stuff. And they'll actually be like real sets, which will be really, really, really cool. So I'm super excited about that. And they're moving out in September, but I've started moving everything there now, including all of the broadcast equipment that we got for LBX, because if we build a little 3-stage studio like that, it's going to be the perfect spot to test it and make sure it all actually works before we go to LBX, because it's essentially going to be the same thing at LBX. We're building a set and then doing a broadcast. So big stuff in the works, which is really cool. So that's kind of my little announcement.
I can't wait for October.
I know, dude. Me too. Brookstone. Did that say Brookstone? You guys remember that store?
This is the club at Brookstone. Remember I told you about that guy who's a fighter pilot? He owns a golf course too, because why not?
Of course he does.
And his dad is retiring soon, so he's like, I bought him a golf course. I'm like, you mean like a round of golf? He's like, no, like I bought him a golf course. I was like, oh,
a mini golf course. No.
And he's like, yes, there are many golf courses that I own. It's like, oh, fuck. No. But anyways, he's a cool guy, so he just said, hey. And it's funny because I used to be his boss on the court, and now he's just a boss of like 1 million people. So it's all good times. But the good news is, talking about this real quick, I was just going to show you. Kyle and I figured this out, but really, really nice looking, and Kyle and I were able to get that figured out pretty fast.
You gotta stick your fist in it, Matt.
It usually solves most problems, yeah, but, you know, at least when Kyle's involved. But it's the nice thing is we figured out that, again, if you're working with glass, don't be afraid to up the power just a scotch, and it kind of compensates for those dips that you see in it. And definitely wear gloves, because what a difference. Like the first 4 or 5 are disgusting, and then I put the gloves on, I'm like, oh yeah, this is way better. So they'll actually come out of the box looking professional instead of like some idiot in his garage made them. So, you know, there you go.
They'll never know some idiot in his garage made them.
I mean, he'll probably tell everybody, but, you know, sorry.
Well, I'll tell you
What a dope.
My basement has just became available, so I'm hoping to buy UV in the future. I cannot wait.
Boys, don't ever say that while you're driving in a van, okay? Just don't do that.
My basement just became available. Dias is asking, Kyle, are you familiar with the Lasermatic 10-watt diode laser? Lots of rave over it in the diode communities.
I have heard a lot about it. I have actually had a couple people mention it to me. I haven't looked into it myself. Just heard about it. I know that their fully enclosed one is something that people are really enjoying, because it's not the typical like tent enclosure. It's like a protection glass over the entire thing, so you can see it do its thing while it's doing its thing, which is kind of cool.
I have to look this up. I don't think I've seen a picture of this.
It looks pretty nifty. Yeah.
What's it called?
Give it a Google.
The Lasermatic.
It's a nifty looking little machine. They're kind of new in the space from what I understand.
Oh, look at that. It looks, so my first thought when I heard the name Lasermatic was like a 1960s, 1970s like film camera, you know? Lasermatic.
There should be,
and
another model there with the enclosure.
It's kind of got the look to it too.
There
with
it
like
is.
the little signature and the aluminum chassis.
$700.
I see $1,000.
1,000.
Yeah, check out that other one.
Yeah, it's got an enclosure. Yeah, it's like an enclosed die. That's actually kind of sick.
It's in that premium price range of like the xTool and the nicer Pharaoh. And
Yeah, but that's tight though with the little like orange shield deal. Is that a camera? It looks like maybe an overhead camera too.
Yeah, I think it has an alignment camera too.
Yeah, sure does. Light burn compatible camera built in. That's kind of sick, dude.
I mean, when you're looking at that kind of premium, and there's $100 coupon on it. That's kind of nifty.
And an air pump is included. Like air assist. You get air assist out of the box. This is pretty complete, actually. That's impressive.
That's what I was saying. For the price tag, I mean, it doesn't seem bad. It's just I know nothing about their company. I don't know anything about.
Me neither. They're claiming 24,000 millimeters a minute. That's 400 millimeters a second. That's fast. That's like what xTool claims on their spec, which we tested and was accurate. So I know diodes can do that, but like that's wicked fast, if true. Oh, it comes with a lot of stuff. That's actually like $1,000 sounded expensive, but like, yeah, it comes with the rotary, it comes with the air assist, it comes with even like this little like elbow thing for the exhaust, a fan, a light burn camera. It's kind of tight, dude. Wi-Fi functionality, probably light burn compatible as well. Pretty sweet.
Well, if it comes with a Lightburn compatible camera, then it should definitely be Lightburn compatible.
Yeah. No, I mean the Wi-Fi. I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Lightburn and Wi-Fi, apparently the xTool Wi-Fi compatibility is something they're working on, from what I read on the forums. So that'll be cool for the people who are disappointed in that.
Real quick, because the last time I tried to show this, it was blocked by a comment or something someone was saying, and also just to show the repeatability of why I like the rotary is because, number one, a lot of times people talk about glass and they talk about how it shatters really easy when you're doing anything on a rotary, on a galvo, because you have to use the chuck, or it's chuck rotary, and so you have to either like put silicone around the different tongs, like you have to set up some kind of a rig. But with this is the Rotoboss low roller from like a while back that I had talked about picking up specifically for this kind of stuff, and tell me how this looks. So this is the repeatability. That's what's really nice about it, and that's what I was saying is like literally you take the glass off just like you're doing it in the galvo or the gantry machines, and so it looks really nice, really easy. So the 5-watt UV from Pascal Lou with the JPT power source that Kyle and I are both playing with really does an awesome job. And the great thing about this is there's no cleanup, there's no wire brushing. Last week we had talked about the Blazer orange stuff, and so it just comes out like looking sandblasted. So it's pretty awesome, man. Like really, really like it. And the glass cost about $1.10, and I'm charging $10 a piece because the guy is ordering a smaller order. I mean, for 3 minutes of lasering, you're making about $8.50, $9. So not too bad. But again, if you were doing this on a CO2, you'd earn that $9. Now with the UV, it's zip zap done. Like this is going straight to the box and I'm putting the next one on. So just figured I'd mention that and let people see.
I like how you have your exhaust threaded through the middle of the Rotoboss too. It's kind of dope.
Cool.
Yeah, I took an Allen wrench and rigged it where basically I put it down into one of the holes on the table. Anybody who's ever seen my fancy exhaust knows that there's literally just a hole. I took a pocket knife, sliced a hole through the little piece of plastic, and I usually use like a set screw. I just put it there and that's it. And it just holds it in place pretty nice. There's fancier ways to do it, but this just makes sure all those little fiber particles, because glass, I always noticed I was getting nosebleeds when I was doing those crystal ornaments at Christmas time.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, and so fiberglass, Kyle's like, that's fiberglass, right? And I was like, yes.
I actually have to take the data vac and blow out the vents on my UV like source, the laser source, because they just fill with glass. Because that's mostly what I do with the UV. Is glass, and it just the vents just fill with glass, so I have to actually like blow them out with the data vac.
Oh yeah,
like very regularly, which is pretty gnar.
You need to do a maintenance video on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Gonna mention this real quick. The cool thing about the Rotoboss that I liked about it that was nice is number one, it's super sturdy, and it comes with little feet that you actually can put. Like I put a couple of bolts in it, like screws in it, and there actually is one for it over here too. But it hangs off the edge of the bed, so it doesn't really matter for me. But long story short, you pop it in and you're done. That's it. Like that's what's nice about it. There's no keying the chuck, this, that, and the other. You plug it in, you hit play, and I'm making $9 more. And so I paid, I think that was $800, and off of these cups I'm making like $250. I don't know, but basically like $200 or $300, $250 to $300 I'm making off this one order. So just this one order has almost paid off that machine. For people who sit there and wonder like, how will I pay it off? It's just you buy the right tools for the jobs and it gets easier. So definitely worth thinking about.
All it takes is one or two big jobs and then you have
and
have it paid off and you have that tool for the life of the tool.
Absolutely. And this is one place. So the cool thing is I'm going to take some pictures of these glasses. Again, I also just bought another case. Again, a case of glasses is $24. Actually, $26 because there's 24 in a case and they're $1.10, right? So $26. I'm going to take some of these. We were talking about it. These are the kind of things that if you take this to because with the fiber laser to go videos, which we have started filming, you kind of need some stuff that's pre-made to take with you to markets that'll just sell. And this is the kind of thing where for $1, I have absolutely no problem. If they didn't sell, I'll just chuck them in the trash and write it off. Or don't, see a kid walking by and be like, here you go, buddy. Have a great day. And there you go. Now some kid will be super excited to have like a laser glass. And why not, right? Write it off.
Willie says, damn, I really want a UV.
I was going to say thank you to Willie because he helped me out this week. I had somebody randomly email my business account. I don't know. It's somebody from the laser world, and he emailed me personally asking for tips on how to do antler and bone, which was cool. I just didn't know anything about antler and bone because I've never done it. Luckily, Willie is like a champion antler engraver, and I sent him the guy's information, and Willie took care of it. So thank you, Willie, for helping out. I think his name was Cliff. So Cliff, if you're watching, Willie is the guy for sure. So anybody looking to do antler and bone, that's the man.
Yeah, Willie says that guy is sending me that knife to engrave. He didn't want tips
Nice.
on how to do it.
It's just like, here you go. Yeah, so that worked out perfect, man. Awesome. Thanks, Willie.
Randy's asking if you guys have ever created leather stamps with a fiber laser. Has anybody ever done that before? I've tried. I can get like pretty good stamp-like quality. I just haven't done it out of a stamp-worthy material yet. I really need to do it on a harder metal, but it's basically like coin engraving. I mean, you're just going really, really deep.
Yeah, Alicia Pate made some out of acrylic, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And they turned out awesome. So
she had like a really heavy press, right, that she was using with those.
Yeah, so she basically had like one of the clickers and the press, and so she clicks out the leather in the shape she wants, and then she literally made like a couple of different acrylic STLs, I guess, like they kind of went down in depth. And then she smashed them on in, and it worked awesome. So I was really impressed by that. And that's a really cheap, effective way to do it.
It was pretty cool to see that done.
Did she make a video on that? I wonder.
I definitely watched it
I'll have to ask
happen.
her.
I don't know where it was. The first place I would check would probably be the Laser Lounge Facebook group on
Yep.
Facebook, because that's where she is. And if you ask her about it, I'm sure she could point you to it. I definitely watched a video of her doing it. Like, I saw her doing it. So I know that there's a video somewhere. I just don't know where it is. But she'd be happy to explain it to you. 100% guaranteed. So I'm not worried about that at all. Again, that's the Laser Lounge Facebook group. And you're looking for Alicia Pate. She's got your answer on that for sure. So Michael, the editor, is in chat. And he already answered this, but I just want to say it out loud for everybody. Cubing was saying, oh, hey, I watched your video on your AirPod Pro marking with the fiber. Wondering if you still have those settings saved. And like Michael said, the cool thing about Lasered is every time that we do a mark on a thing, while it's marking that mark or showing the results of that mark, the settings are along the bottom of the screen. They're kind of small so that they're out of the way and you can see the mark happening, but the settings are there. So we include every setting, every failure setting, and every success setting throughout the course of the entire series. So if you're looking for those, they are on the bottom of the screen while the mark is happening. Gretch is here. What's up, Gretch? Good to see you. Directed Text says, I know how passionate you all are about laser eye safety. If you'd ever like to talk with someone with a laser-related eye injury, hit me up. I'm a naval flight officer, 25 plus years active duty. Thanks for your service, dude. That
Thank
sucks.
you, man.
Don't like that, but yeah, I would love to hear about it for sure. That would be an interesting story, no doubt. I hope you're doing okay. And let's see, we're almost caught up on chat,
Got my glasses on this whole time in case anybody was wondering. There they are.
especially on that UV, dude.
Oh god, dude, the one time it ever got me was enough to teach me my lesson, because I literally was just, it was a glass tube was going around in a circle, and I went like this over it like an idiot and was like, oh, yep, me. Okay, that's done. All right.
I wasn't expecting this so quick, but speaking of diodes,
Oh, hey, look at that. What is it?
this is the longer B1 30 watt,
Longer
It's
B130 watt.
36 watts of optical output power from a diode.
36 watts of pure power.
6 combined diodes. It comes with an air assist. It is a beefy guy.
I remember that now. We covered that during the holidays or some about the 6-in-1.
It's got like a screen on it and stuff. On the diode? Is that, or no, it's a window?
It's not a screen.
It's a window. It's just like
On
the
what?
little window. On the little,
Oh yeah, it's just a polarized
kind of got like
projection window.
xTool vibes.
When I picked this up, I was not expecting diode. I was expecting like raw wood or something. It's heavy.
It's heavy, yeah, dense, high density laser.
Well, there was also something else that they added.
Interesting. And what about it made you want to accept it as a review unit? Was it just the wattage?
It
Just
is.
the raw power.
It's by far the highest output wattage I will
Yeah.
have had in the shop, but also it comes with the air compressor.
Yeah, that's really nice.
When you're looking at something that's that much wattage out of a diode, it's designed for cutting. When they don't come with an air pump, it kind of confuses me.
I mean, it better. They're claiming 0.1 millimeter stainless steel.
Oh, the one that can cut that?
They are saying it can.
Yeah, we covered that. Yeah.
They also sent some of this.
3D printer filament.
Perhaps
Is there another package you're awaiting?
Maybe
Nope, it actually cuts through stainless steel using PLA.
3D printer filament. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bigger working frame.
So perhaps that's something that'll be coming in
It's
the future.
450 by 440. That is bigger than the average standard sized gantry for diode lasers. I get it, longer. Haha.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Hit the button.
What an idiot.
Boy, thought that was funny.
That f***ing tickled me, man. Yeah, I want a diode, man. I want to play with a diode sometime. I got room now.
The spot size is a little big compared to its
I do not
competitors,
want to
but
play with the diode.
I can't blame it. If it's actually 36 watts, it's going to have a bigger spot size.
It's got 6 combined diodes. so
36,000 millimeters a minute. Dude, you got a lot of testing ahead of you. They're making some
know.
claims, man. What does this come in at on price? $1,000?
it's up there.
It's
up.
I'm looking at it right now. It's $1,400 quote unquote normally, and then it's $1,000 right now. And you guys know how often diode lasers go on sale, so call it $1,000. But yeah, wow. Well, that's exciting, man.
It solidly lands into that premium price category. So
Yeah, for sure.
got to make sure it lives up to it.
Diodes just keep getting more and more expensive. I mean, they're getting better.
In terms of their output power, they're getting closer and closer to CO2 too. Like you're able to start cutting through some seriously thick stuff apparently. So
Yeah, I mean, even the 10-watt xTool D1 Pro, like that had some pretty serious cutting power, and Ortur's 10-watt module has been exceptionally good. And so here's the thing, like back when all diode modules were 5-watt, you'd get like the 2-2, which was like their little 2.5-watt module, and then they had the 2-4 long focus and short focus. And you would use the 2-4s in order to cut stuff because you get more power. But for like keeping that diode dot size, you know, getting the really fine detail for photos and stuff like that, you'd use the 2-watt too, because you needed to use the lower wattage unit in order to maintain that dot size. With the 10-watt has a dot size equivalent to the 2-2. It literally like doubled the power of the 2-4 and retained the 2-2's dot size.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive. And now I got an email today saying they're coming out with a 20-watt now, which like I would say about time, but they continue to be the most impressive spec-wise as far as their dot sizes go and things like that. So I'm excited to see and hear more about that. I still need to do a review for the freaking Lasermaster 3 that's sitting. I just brought all the diodes to the shop too, so I need to find somewhere to set those all up. I'm probably going to need to build a workbench. The work pro tables I have aren't deep enough for them. So, and I don't want to put two back to back because then it's like the tables are never perfectly level with each other. So then you've got like 2 feet up and 2 feet down. It's a whole thing. Anyway, neither here nor there. I kind of got off on a tangent there. What do you do, boy? Are you just trying to protect your eyes from Matt's laser there, boys?
It's killing me, man.
Oh my God.
My
Is it
future's
really?
bright. No.
I was like, oh, turn it off. I'm sorry,
My
buddy.
future's just really bright, you know, so.
You're just wearing the
Boys.
shades?
How big was
That's
the
right.
blunt you smoked before you came on?
Man,
You
I
haven't turned
wish.
CDBs?
Man.
I wish.
Man, I
Boys,
tell
you didn't
ya.
give me an update. We didn't get a voice update. A bupdate.
So I got I'm ready to make some live streams on the socials now with the proper mic setup.
Right?
So I'm going to start doing material tests and all the Okuch wood I have.
What about like business wise?
So I'm actually going to take the idea of these Lake Michigan 3D layer maps and show people how to
Yeah, man.
size it correctly for like you buy a shadow box and say, okay, it can do 9 layers of 3mm wood, 1/8. And say, okay, this is how you do it step by step. Take it, you make a frame, downsize it so it's all, proportionate. I'm going to make content that's like you get a job, you're like, I'm going to make this. This is where you buy it. This is how much it costs. This is the material cost. And this is how you adjust the file. Go to Hobby Lobby, buy the damn frame, make it, paint it, sand it, and put it together. Like I'm trying to show start to finish products now, like business-wise, like, just a day in the life of making a product.
One thing that I've been thinking about for when I start to do stuff that's for sale through shipping is literally thinking about the size of shipping is a pain in the ass for things.
Yeah, and wait.
So what I was thinking is start looking at the boxes for one price shipping or whatever it's called.
flat rate.
There you go, for flat rate shipping priority stuff. And then make it like half an inch smaller than that on both sides so you've got enough space to put bubble wrap and shit around it. And then no matter where it goes, it just slides right into the box wrapped up the way you want it. Done.
I'll make sure I look into that too. Like I'll include that too, as like shipping boxes and stuff like that for these. I have 4x6s and 6x8, 8x10 shadow boxes I'm doing.
Yeah, see, those would go in a lot of the different. Yeah, that's good.
12x12s, 10x10s easily.
So that was just one thing because a friend of mine was telling me that one of the biggest pains in the butt was when they were trying to figure out shipping for like oddly sized items. Plus, then they have to make boxes, and I'm sure people here have had to mess with that, where they've had to make their own boxes and make their own crating and all that kind of stuff for products. Then you get into a whole another headache, and then you have to measure them, you have to get them sorted out. What a pain in the butt.
Then you got to price point it, like how do you price that out?
Cubing says, hey, want to buy my diode? I put it together and never used it. Don't get rid of your diode, dude. Keep it. Keep your diode. Keep it forever. You can do so many nice things, dude. The photos. You really keep it for photos, man.
That's the only reason I want a diode. I want to do photos on different things that are smaller,
And organic. Dude, CO2, but when you compare it to like what you can do with a diode, it's a big difference. I just brought home like a really impressive diode photo I did on one of the diode reviews that I worked on, and it's unreal, and it blows CO2 out of the water. It takes 4 times longer, but it's much nicer. And there are a lot of reasons to keep your diode. Don't get rid of your diode. Keep it.
I think he just wants to help pay off his new laser he bought. Because didn't he get a CO2 recently?
He did. Yeah, no, he did.
Yes.
You did.
Oh, yeah,
but you're going to miss it. You're going to want to rebuy it.
See, that's where you take that CO2 and make that cheddar.
Yeah.
That CO2, he just got some help moving that downstairs.
Oh, nice.
He just got it.
Oh, look at this. Cody Barron says, I just shipped a custom pin board through UPS and it cost $202 after the custom box. Odd size pieces are a pain to ship. That's what I'm telling you, dude. Because then what'll happen is someone will go to your little Etsy shop and they'll be like, oh, this is so cute. I love it. And then it'll say shipping $110. And you're like, holy God almighty.
Trey's saying, looking at buying first laser for small business, thinking the xTool 2, your thoughts? I liked the D1 that I reviewed, just to be clear.
The xTool 2 is their CO2, I believe.
Oh, the P2. Let's see, price-wise
If I'm
on
not
that.
mistaken.
$4,599. That's a hard pass, bro. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get an ohm tech for that. You can get a big ohm tech for that.
You get a Mira
We've had some
5.
hot takes on that before.
You can fly me out and I'll buy a laser and do the work for you.
No, but a Mira 5 is only like $1,000 more, maybe
How much
If
was that
that-
one? 5,500?
4,000.
The Ranger's cheaper.
$599.
The Ranger's literally cheaper.
The range,
But it's been out of stock for like forever, hasn't it?
It does not appear to be out of stock currently.
Oh, all right.
go.
I think I checked on like Friday for somebody from the LMA. That's exciting.
There's a button right here.
Whoop, whoop.
Add to cart, adding to cart.
Bam.
It's good. You can buy it right now.
Baby.
So I would
Nice.
probably, yeah, I mean, this is great. You get the Trosing controller, you get a nice big 24 by 15 inch bed, you get light burn support. It's a 65 watt laser. You get a 300 watt exhaust fan with it. The chiller is super inexpensive. You can grab one, instead of dishing out for the SNA, you can grab the Q600 is perfect for it. It's cheaper than the SNA and it is better and easier to use. We just did a video about light objects chillers on the channel, which you can check out. So you can have one of these for $395, which is basically nothing. And it's got a powered Z table. There's just so many other machines. The Mirror 5 is a great option too. We have links to that stuff on the buying guide. But the Ranger, man, I mean, this is the way I would go if I was in that price range. I literally couldn't imagine buying anything else. Like right at that $4,000 level, this is really the way that I would go.
I feel like for as far as support goes, the xTool, good luck.
Yeah, and light object, it's like exactly you're going to call and Jay is going to pick up the phone.
People that are going to talk to you ever.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be Jay or it's going to be Marco or Joel. You know, I mean, like it's one of those three people is going to answer the phone. We've had a lot of LMA members actually buy these recently. Funny enough, it's probably why they're always out of stock. And everybody's been really happy with them. I'm super stoked on mine. I actually put it right up in front of everything else in the shop because I plan on using it that often once we get in there and we start working with stuff again. So I'm really stoked about it. If I was going to spend $4,000, that's what I would be getting. We have links to it.
Threw his back out getting it there.
Yeah, we have links to it on the buying guide, lasereverything.net/buying guide. Use that link. It helps support the channel. But we have a lot of CO2 lasers up there. They're all good, but I would go with the Ranger at that specific price range. I think that would be a really good buy.
Yeah, the Mirror 5's $6K.
Yeah, and that has a 3000 series chiller in it, right? Not a 5000 series chiller.
Here.
If I was gonna get a Mira, I'd get at least a 7. I don't know if I'd go with a 5. The 7 might have a 3000 series chiller in it. You really want something. You want like vapor.
I think the 7 and 9 come with the same chiller.
7 and 9 have the condenser.
Yeah, the Mirror 7, $7,500. Built-in water cooling, exhaust fan, air assist. It doesn't say. Oof, it doesn't list it here.
I was wrong.
About what?
The Mirror 7 comes with a 3000 series chiller. The 9 comes with a 5.
So I'd probably get a 9 if I was going to get a Mira. The 5 and 7 are good, but I would probably get an external chiller.
And a 3-foot, 36 by 24 bed spaces. It's really nice. I ain't gonna lie.
I do not trust 3000 series chillers to chill anything because they're not really chillers.
That's the key there. They're a radiator with a water pump. There is no refrigerant, so calling it a chiller is a stretch.
Yeah, even an ohm tech, right? I mean, like you could get again like an ohm tech in that price range, but again, the Ranger for about the same price. You're getting like a beam combiner, you know, like built in a beam combiner. Come on, like it's a no-brainer. So I would definitely check that out.
Light objects for the win.
Yeah, if you had a little bit more money in your budget, I'd push you to one of the bigger Eons probably. But
does the Ranger have the pass through?
Yeah.
Then there you go.
No,
You can't go wrong with that, honestly.
I don't know.
No? Just split your graphic in half, have a central point and spin it. There's a way to do it to make a...
I'm starting to think no. I don't think so.
Not a
The mirrors definitely don't have pass through. The Novas do. But that's way out of this guy's budget.
It's got pass through, dude.
The Ranger has pass through? Okay, great. So there you go.
I know everybody's not a huge Boss fan like I am, but the Boss series is doing like a Father's Day sale, and I think they're doing a July 4th sale too coming up. I think it was, I don't know if it was the 1630 or the 1424 or 1624, but either way, it's a comparable bed size, and I think it was 5,500. So that's one of those things where it was like definitely worth looking into. I think that's a 70 watt it comes with. But I do like the Ranger 3, especially if you're looking for that price point and also for that size, because anything that's from Boss is going to take up a lot of space in your shop, like no doubt.
Bigger footprint.
So if you're looking for, and that's one of those things too, I like the middle of the road, which is like the portability of the Ranger 3, even if it is kind of chunky to get up a flight of stairs, you're not good luck getting one of those machines I talked about up a set of stairs alone, or even with a friend.
PCW is asking, do you have to be careful about 100% power usage with a CO2 Galvo like you do with a gantry? It's not gantry versus Galvo, it's glass tube versus RF tube, and there are glass tube CO2 Galvo lasers. That exists. So the RF tubes generally, my understanding is that it's not as big of an issue. Any laser you run at 100% all the time, I think is going to see faster wear than if you don't, but it's particularly big issue with glass tube CO2 lasers. RF tubes are a lot less likely to be affected by that long term.
For reference, this is why me and Alex are confused on the Ranger. The door on the back, I don't think is a pass-through, but the tray in the front, this bottom black part below the lid, that does fold down, kind of like a
mirror. Well, mirror does the same thing. You can stick half the board out and just flip it over. That's what I do with the
larger
boards.
cuts.
Yeah.
There you go.
One of the things, too, to consider when you're looking at all of the lasers we've talked about is in chat, Cuban Cracked had asked about, or I think Cuban Cracked and Willie had talked about compressors. I highly suggest buying a compressor, like aftermarket. I like the California Air Tools. They're awesome. I believe that's in our buying guide, too.
Yes, it is.
Which it's super quiet. It's under 50 decibels. I've had it going on during the show before, and I mean, it's noticeable from 5 feet away. Like, it's really cool when I have a customer here talking to me while I'm doing stuff. We can have an easy conversation, and I'm pumping 60 psi. I've had jobs that are taking me like 8-9 hours, and I'm just pumping 60 psi, and the thing stays pretty cool for what it's doing and how much work it's putting through, like when I'm doing all the cutting I'm doing.
For context too, like most entry level or even higher end machines, before you get super premium, they'll come with like a little aquarium pump for air. And those are they're not designed to be pumping a lot of PSI. They're just meant to be bubblers for the bottom of air tanks, essentially.
Keep the lenses clear, yeah.
Yeah, it's enough to keep the lens clear. It's not really meant for like really helping you cut. It's just meant to keep your lens alive so that it doesn't immediately get covered in soot and crack itself from the heat that it absorbs. You might see 2 or 3 PSI out of it or something like that, which is perfect for engraving. It's enough to keep the lens clear. For cutting, you could see anywhere from that to 50 plus PSI doing acrylic. Just kind of depends on what your needs are and how your system is set up. But another thing is, if you're going with a compressor, look into the cleaners to remove the moisture out before it gets pumped into the laser. And a lot of those will also have the ability to turn the PSI down. So you can either manually control the pressure that you're pumping into the machine, or you can also do something like the Ultimate Air Assist Kit, which allows you to have a bypass solenoid that when you power it, when the controller calls for it opens up that dump valve and it just releases the pressure of whatever you're feeding in versus what's trickling in, keeping the lens clean. That way, when you have a cut layer, you can enable that in Lightburn, and boom, you have cut PSI.
Super worth it. And the other thing I was going to say, if you do look into it, I know for a while they made a steel-bellied, like California Air Tools made one that had steel belly in it, where like the inside of it is steel and the other one was aluminum. If you can, make sure to try and get the aluminum because it's oilless. It makes a lot of water. And if you get the steel, it'll rust out and it just the longevity of the aluminum one's a lot better. So if you have that option, or if it's something that you see, snag one.
Just to swing back to the $4,500 laser question, E2 is saying the P2 has auto pass-through up to 9 feet. True, and probably works fairly well, but you have to use their software in order to get those kind of features, which is fine. But if you want to see my full opinion about that, go watch the xTool D1 review, where we kind of go into xTool's laser software with a little more of a fine-toothed comb. There are some not great things about it that people should be aware of before committing to using that all the time. Because when you get a laser like that, if you want to use the marketed features, obviously those things aren't built into software like Lightburn, so you're not going to be doing that with Lightburn. You're going to be doing your work in the xTool Creative Suite, and you should know what the ups and downs of that are before you get kind of tangled up in that. So go check that out. xTool D1 Pro review. We just published that not too long ago.
Oh, did you see what Trey just said?
I was going to say, adding on to that, you also have the automated height change for engraving objects that don't have the same height across the surface. I think you also need their software to utilize that feature. Otherwise, you're just working on 2D plane, which
yeah, and
is fine. That's what we're all used to. But
Trey says the conveyor belt adds like $1,000 to the total.
The total.
And
which, I mean, it makes sense too, because I mean that's not nothing.
Michael is saying, "Hey Alex, if I move up there, we should make a mini series called Teaching a Noob to Laser, where you teach me the basics of lasering. That'd be fun."
Oh, is he moving to New York now?
I'm trying to get him to move.
Alabama coming to the big north. Woohoo!
The first thing you need to learn is don't stick your head under the laser while it's lasering.
Yeah, for real, Jimmy.
I mean, what if you need a haircut though?
Get a wife.
No.
Or go bald like boys. Okay,
Get the special.
that's it. We got to wrap it up. We're over an hour.
I got 2 glasses left.
I got 2 glasses left. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to the Laser Source podcast. We appreciate you swinging by LETV to catch this episode. Another good turnout tonight. Lots of people in chat today. Appreciate you guys coming out as usual. And of course, you'll catch the re-upload on the channel and on your podcast listening places when the time comes for that. Michael should be doing audio only edits from now on. So if you're here, lucky you got to see the video. Everybody else will be consuming the audio version of this. If you enjoyed the content, please smash the like button if you haven't already. Leave us a comment on one of our other videos. Go drop a comment somewhere. It really helps out the channel, like big time. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast service, namely Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star review. Rate and review the show. It really, really pushes the show out in front of more people. And so many other podcast services rely on Apple Podcast reviews. They just like pull the metadata and just use that system instead of coming up with their own. So it really helps the channel out. So leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts if you get the chance. Boyce would be upset with me if I didn't say go get some merch, even though he's not wearing any today. And
Am I the only one?
I think you were the only one currently wearing Laser Everything merch. I had my hat on, but it was just so hot. And I don't know. We have some big stuff coming out, but it's just not ready yet. So Marketplace is still going well. We have some exciting things coming up on the website that we're just
October.
It's just not there yet. We got October coming up. My cat's here. That's all I've got, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode of the Laser Source podcast, and we will see you in the next one.